The slap hit so hard that the sound bounced off the marble walls. Madame Lou froze, her cheek flaming red, her hand trembling around a crumpled check-in paper. The man in the gray suit, Richard Eaton, hotel manager of the Marlowe, lowered his hand slowly like nothing unusual had happened. "You want to scream at me in another language again?" he said coldly. "Then go back to wherever you came from." The lobby went silent. The front desk clerks stopped typing. Two bellhops stood still, unsure if they should keep smiling. Tiana Carter, pushing a cleaning cart near the elevator, turned her head sharply. She saw the woman's small frame shaking, not from rage, but shock. The check-in paper slid from her fingers and landed near Tiana's mop. Madame Lou tried to speak, her accent thick, her voice desperate. Reservation today. Sweet Magnolia. Please, I show you." She held out her phone, shaking, pointing at the screen. The date was clearly today. Eaton snatched the phone from her hand. "This says tomorrow. Maybe read your own calendar right before you waste everyone's time." The woman pointed again, repeating something in Mandarin that no one understood. "Jesus," he muttered, tossing the phone back. "You people can't even book a room properly and think money fixes everything." The doorman looked away. The receptionist forced a polite smile, pretending not to hear. Tiana bent down to pick up the paper that had fallen. It was a printed confirmation, half English, half Chinese. But something else was clipped to it. An old black-and-white photo of a woman standing proudly in front of a building that looked almost exactly like the Marlowe Hotel, only older. When Tiana straightened, Eaton had already turned his back. "Get her out of the line," he ordered to the staff. "She can sit over there until someone figures out what she's babbling about." The woman didn't move. She kept repeating a short phrase in Mandarin, her tone sharper now, like a warning. Eaton turned again. "Do you understand the word wait?" he said, slower, louder, crueler. Tiana's chest tightened. Something about the scene, the arrogance, the smirk on his face, felt too familiar. She'd seen people like him all her life. The ones who think their title gives them the right to humiliate others in public. "Sir," Rebecca, the front desk clerk, said carefully, "maybe we should call an interpreter service." "No." Eaton cut her off. "She'll sit. We'll deal with her when I'm ready." He turned to walk away. Madame Lou said something again, louder this time. He spun around. "Don't raise your voice in my lobby." The moment cracked open like glass. Tiana dropped the mop handle, stepped forward, and before she knew what she was doing, she said she's not leaving. Every head turned. Eaton blinked. "Excuse me." She said she's not leaving. Tiana repeated, her voice steady. He stared at her like she'd just spoken nonsense. "You understand her?" "Yes," Tiana said. "She's speaking Mandarin." A pause stretched long enough to choke the air. Then a faint scoff. "Since when does housekeeping handle translations?" Tiana didn't flinch. "Since the person you slapped can't defend herself." Gasped from the front desk. Rebecca covered her mouth. Mark, the bellhop, whispered, "Oh, damn." Eaton took a step closer. His voice dropped, low and dangerous. "Watch your tone, Miss Carter. This isn't your business." "She's a guest," Tiana said. "That makes it my business." The woman's eyes darted between them, confused but sensing the shift. She whispered in Mandarin, "Thank you." Eaton exhaled sharply through his nose, forcing a laugh that didn't sound human. "Fine. You want to play translator? Tell her she's lucky I don't call the police for causing a disturbance." Tiana looked him dead in the eye. "If you're that confident, maybe you should tell her yourself." The room froze again. Rebecca whispered, "Tiana, stop." But Tiana didn't. "You hit her. In front of witnesses. You think nobody's going to talk about that?" Eaton's jaw twitched. "Enough. Get back to your cart before I decide this conversation never happened." Tiana didn't move. She glanced at the woman again, still standing straight, her dignity holding together like glass under strain. Tiana switched languages. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. "Are you all right?" The woman's eyes widened. Her lips trembled, not from fear this time, but recognition. "Do you speak Chinese?" "You speak Chinese?" "A little," Tiana replied quietly. "But enough." Rebecca's voice broke the silence. "Sir, she's bleeding." A thin line of blood ran down from the corner of Madame Lou's lip. Eaton froze, realizing how visible it was. "Get her some napkins," he barked, retreating a step. Tiana didn't move toward the napkins. She pulled a tissue from her own pocket, handed it to the woman, and said gently, "Here. Don't let them treat you like you're invisible." The woman dabbed her lip and whispered in Mandarin, "People who forget respect will eventually learn fear." Tiana caught every word. She didn't translate it, but she smiled faintly. Eaton barked something about unprofessional behavior and stormed toward his office. The lobby slowly began to move again. People whispering, phones raised, the invisible machinery of gossip starting to turn. Madame Lu turned to Tiana, speaking in careful, broken English. "You help me, yes?" "Yes," Tiana said. "I'll help you." The woman nodded slowly, her composure returning. She looked toward the grand staircase, eyes distant, almost nostalgic. "This place," she said softly, "belonged to my family long time ago." Tiana frowned. "Your family owned this place?" The woman looked back at her, calm and certain. "Not just owned," she said. "Built it." The words hung heavy in the polished air, echoing louder than the slap that started it all. And Tiana realized she'd just stepped into something far bigger than a fight in a lobby. "Who the hell do you think you are?" Eaton's voice cut through the staff hallway before Tiana could even clock out. She turned and saw him striding toward her, tie loose, face red, the same kind of red that came before firing. "I told you to stay out of that," he said. "You don't speak to guests, and you definitely don't talk back to management." She was bleeding, Tiana said, keeping her voice even. "You hit her in front of everyone." He laughed once, short, sharp, angry. "Don't start playing hero. You want to keep this job? You shut your mouth and clean the floors like you're paid to." Tiana didn't answer. She'd heard that tone before, from supervisors, from customers, from cops who didn't like questions. "You're on probation starting now," Eaton said. "One more word and you're out." He walked off before she could respond. Rebecca waited by the break room door, whispering, "Tiana, he's furious. Just lay low, okay? Pretend it didn't happen." "She got slapped," Tiana said. "I know," Rebecca sighed. "But you can't change him. You know how it is here. Management protects management." Tiana stared at her a moment, then grabbed her cart. Somebody should protect her too. An hour later, she found Madame Lu sitting alone in the corner of the hotel lounge, her hands folded tightly around a cup of untouched tea. Tiana approached quietly. "You shouldn't stay out here alone. They'll keep staring." The woman looked up. Her eyes were sharp even through fatigue. "You speak Mandarin?" Tiana nodded. "Enough to understand." The woman exhaled in relief, then spoke slowly in Chinese. "I tried to explain. They wouldn't listen. They think I don't belong here." "They think that about a lot of people," Tiana replied. "You're not the first." Lou gave a small, weary smile. "You're kind to help." "You don't have to. I wanted to," Tiana said simply. "Do you have a room now?" "The same mistake," Lou said, showing her phone again. "But see today, not tomorrow. Always same problem when I travel." Tiana looked. The email was clear. Check-in confirmed for that date. "I'll fix it," Tiana said. "Ow!" By not asking their permission. She went to the front desk, ignoring the looks. Rebecca whispered, "Tiana, don't." "I need an open suite for tonight," Tiana said. Rebecca hesitated, then typed quickly. "The Magnolia's open, but Eaton said." "Put her there," Tiana said. "I'll take responsibility." Rebecca stared, then sighed. "You're crazy." "Maybe," Tiana said, "but at least she'll sleep tonight." When Tiana returned to the lounge, Madame Lu was staring at her tea like it held an answer. "They gave you a room," Tiana said. "Sweet Magnolia." The woman's eyes softened. "You did that?" "Yes." "Thank you." As Tiana helped her gather her bags, she noticed two old leather trunks mixed in with the designer luggage, cracked, worn, initials faded. They looked out of place, like they'd come from another century. "You travel with all this?" Tiana asked. "They belong to my grandmother," Lou said. "She brought them to America a long time ago." Upstairs, the suite was spacious and sterile, all white and chrome. Lou placed the trunks carefully by the window. "You're very young," she said after a while. "How do you know Mandarin?" "My mom's a diplomat," Tiana said. "We lived in Beijing when I was 16. She made me go to local school instead of international. Said if you're in a place, you learn the people too. Lou nodded slowly. She was right. Most people don't want to understand, they just want to control. Tiana didn't answer. She knew the truth of that sentence in more ways than one. Lou opened one trunk, lifting out bundles of yellow documents. These are family papers, she explained. Old deeds, business records, photos. My grandmother owned buildings here. One of them was where this hotel now stands. Tiana frowned. You mean she sold it? No, Lou said quietly. It was taken. Tiana hesitated. Taken how? Lou looked up at her, calm but heavy-eyed. By people who said she had no right to own land because she wasn't white, wasn't American. She left with nothing. Tiana felt the weight of that land in her own bones. So you can't find proof? Yes. For her. For me. Lou's voice hardened. They built this place on what she created, and now I will take it back. Before Tiana could answer, there was a sharp knock at the door. Eaton's voice came muffled but firm. Housekeeping. I know you're in there. Lou stiffened. Tiana whispered, Don't say anything. She opened the door just enough to block his view. What do you want? I told you you're suspended, Eaton said. And yet here you are playing private assistant to a guest who's already caused enough trouble. She's checked in, Tiana said. It's handled, not by you. Step aside. She doesn't need you in here. Eaton's jaw flexed. You think you're untouchable because you speak her language? This is a 5-star hotel, not a charity. Pack your things. You're done. Tiana didn't flinch. Then fire me in front of her. I'd love to see the headline. Behind her, Madame Lou's voice rose, low but commanding. Mr. Eaton. He froze. She was speaking English now, slow, careful but clear. You hit me. You call me liar. Tomorrow morning, my lawyer call you. You understand this. Eaton stared, caught between anger and fear. Good night, Mr. Eaton, she said, dismissing him like a servant. He left without another word. When the door closed, Tiana turned to her, half stunned. You had that in you the whole time. I pick my battles, Lou said simply. But now we start war. Tiana laughed once, shaky but real. You don't even know what you're starting. Oh, I know, Lou said. Question is, are you brave enough to help me finish it? Tiana looked at her, then at the photo, still lying on the desk, an old black and white image of the same building, with a woman's name engraved on the corner, Jiang and Company. She took a slow breath. Yeah, she said, I think I am. By morning, everyone in the staff break room was whispering. Tiana walked in to grab coffee, and every voice stopped. Rebecca looked up, then looked away. Heather muttered something under her breath about playing translator for money. Mark, the bellhop, leaned close and said quietly, You're trending on the hotel group chat. Eaton almost broke a glass last night after you shut him down. Tiana poured coffee, ignoring the stares. He'll get over it. Heather scoffed. He's your boss, not your boyfriend. You should have kept quiet. Now he's watching everything you do. Tiana turned. You were in the lobby. You saw what he did to her. Heather shrugged. Yeah, but that's not my fight. Maybe that's the problem, Tiana said flatly, then walked out. Upstairs, Madame Lou was already dressed. Same impeccable suit, same unreadable face. The 2 leather trunks sat open, papers spread across the bed. You didn't sleep? Tiana asked. Sleep is luxury, Lou said. I came here for truth. She gestured to the papers. You'll help me read? Tiana hesitated. If Eaton sees me in here again, then he fires you, Lou interrupted. But maybe he should remember that staff can talk, that they can tell reporters about things he did. The calm way she said it sent a chill through the room. Tiana sat down. Okay, let's see what you've got. Lou passed her a set of folded documents, brittle paper stamped with seals from the 1940s. Property deeds, business permits, the name Jiang Min, handwritten in both Chinese and English. My grandmother, Lou said. She bought this land in 1940. She built tea gallery here. After war, she signed contract with 3 men. Developers. They promised partnership. Let me guess, Tiana said. They took it all. Yes. Lou unfolded a photo, black and white, grainy, for people standing in front of a construction site. The woman from the earlier picture, smiling beside 3 white men in suits. These men, their families still own the Marlowe today. Eaton is one of them. Tiana stared at the photo. You're saying his grandfather stole it? I'm saying his grandfather erased her name, Lou said quietly. That's worse. Tiana spent the next hour helping her organize. She translated some notes written in half English, half Mandarin. A recurring term caught her eye. Phoenix Suite. What's that? She asked. My grandmother designed a special room, Lou said. Private chamber, hidden during renovation. She called it the Phoenix Wing. She said it carried her spirit. Tiana blinked. You think it's still here? After 70 years. Maybe yes, maybe no. But the wall remembers, even when people forget. The line was strange coming from her, blunt but poetic. Tiana frowned. You think it's inside the hotel? Yes, Lou said. Blueprint shows something missing. See, she handed over a faded map of the old building. There was a rectangular section between what was now the Magnolia and Orchid Suites, empty on the new plans. That space doesn't exist anymore, Tiana said. At least not on paper. Lou smiled faintly. Then we looked not on paper. When Tiana stepped out into the hall, Eaton was waiting near the elevator. Good morning, Miss Carter, he said too pleasantly. Enjoying your extended employment? Just doing my job, she said evenly. Your job doesn't include private meetings in VIP suites. You were seen again this morning. I was asked to translate, she said. You want guests to feel welcome, right? He smiled in a way that wasn't smile. One more step out of line, and you're gone. You think because you embarrassed me once you're safe? You're not. Tiana met his gaze. Then maybe stop giving me reasons. He stared a second longer, then walked off. By afternoon, word spread that Eaton had filed an incident report against her. Rebecca found Tiana near the supply room. He's serious, T. He wants you written up for insubordination. Tiana exhaled slowly. Then I'll finish what I started before he can. Rebecca hesitated. You really think that woman's telling the truth? I saw the papers, Tiana said. Old ones. Signed. Sealed. You can't fake that kind of age. Rebecca shook her head. You're going to get yourself fired. Then I'll go down doing something that matters, Tiana said. That night, Tiana returned to Lou's suite with a flashlight and cleaning cart as cover. You sure about this? She asked. Yes, Lou said, pulling on gloves. You said you know building well. Every service tunnel, every supply closet. What exactly are we looking for? Lou unfolded the blueprint again. Here. She pointed to the narrow wall between 2 suites. This space should not exist. But it does. They walked the corridor in silence. Every step echoed. At the far end, a decorative alcove housed a large porcelain vase painted with golden birds. This wall, Lou whispered. The proportion's wrong. Tiana ran her fingers along the paneling. Maybe maintenance covered something. Try the edges, Lou said. They pressed along the seams until something clicked, a soft mechanical sound. The wooden panel shifted half an inch. Wait, Tiana whispered. Do that again. Lou pressed the same spot, and the panel swung inward like a hidden door. Dust rushed out in a wave of stale air. Behind it, a dark corridor stretched 6 feet deep. Tiana swallowed. You weren't kidding. Lou stepped inside first. Bring light. They followed the narrow passage until it opened into a room, perfectly preserved beneath decades of neglect. Silk wall coverings faded but intact. Hand-carved screens. Antique furniture draped in dust cloths. In the center, an old photograph hung over the fireplace. The same woman from Lou's trunk, standing proudly in front of the half-built hotel. My grandmother, Lou whispered. Tiana looked around, stunned. This is insane. It's been sealed for 70 years. Lou walked to a writing desk, brushing away dust. No, it has been waiting. She opened a drawer and pulled out a small leather book. Its pages yellowed, the ink barely visible. Chinese characters filled every line. She wrote this here, Lou said, voice trembling for the first time. Her last notes before she left. Tiana shone her flashlight closer. What's it say? Lou read aloud, haltingly translating. The phoenix hides, but will rise when the truth is remembered. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, Tiana said quietly, then I guess we just remembered. The next morning, Tiana barely made it past the lobby before security stopped her. "Mr. Eaton wants to see you," the guard said. No greeting, no explanation. In his office, Eaton was waiting with arms crossed and a folder already open. Heather sat beside him, looking uncomfortable. Eaton didn't waste time. "You want to tell me why you were in a restricted section of the hotel at 2 in the morning?" Tiana kept her face still. "I was cleaning. Cleaning?" He barked a laugh. "That's your story?" He flipped a page in the folder, printed stills from a security camera. It showed Tiana and Madame Lou in the hallway near the Magnolia Suite. The timestamp glowed bright red. Heather avoided eye contact. "You entered through a maintenance door that's been locked for years," Eaton said. "Care to explain how you got the key?" Tiana said nothing. "Let me guess," he continued. "You think you found some big secret down there? You think that woman's telling you the truth about owning this place?" Tiana met his eyes. "I don't think. I know." His expression hardened. "That's enough. You're suspended, effective immediately." Heather spoke up quietly. "Sir, maybe we should." Out. Eaton snapped. "Now." Heather hesitated, then left. The door clicked behind her. Eaton leaned forward. "Listen carefully, Miss Carter. You've been a decent worker. But if you keep following that woman around, you'll destroy your career. She's not who she says she is. She's a con artist. You hit her in front of half the staff," Tiana said. "If anyone's a problem here, it's you." He smirked. "That slap saved this hotel a lawsuit. She was harassing my staff, waving money around like we're servants. You think you're defending some innocent woman? She's here to scam the company." Tiana didn't blink. "Then maybe the company deserves it." He slammed his hand on the desk. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Then explain it," she shot back. He paused, caught between anger and hesitation, then said quietly, "Some things are better buried." When Tiana returned to her locker, Rebecca was waiting. "What happened?" "Suspended," Tiana said, tying her hair back. "Oh my God, T. What are you going to do?" "I'm not done yet." Rebecca lowered her voice. "Heather told me Eaton's having all the basement keys replaced. Whatever you found last night, he knows." That was enough. Tiana grabbed her bag and headed straight to the Magnolia Suite. Madame Lou was standing by the window, staring down at the street. "He came here this morning," she said without turning. "Mr. Eaton. He warned me to leave." Tiana shut the door. "He suspended me." Lou turned finally. "Then you are free. Free to get blacklisted, maybe." Lou smiled faintly. "Freedom always costs something." She gestured toward the desk. I read more of her journal. Tiana looked. The old notebook lay open beside several photos. Lou pointed at a passage. She wrote about a man named Thompson. Partner. He changed documents before she fled. He used company Regal Developments. That name still exists under Marlowe Holdings. "So it's all connected," Tiana said. "Eaton, his family, this whole place." "Yes," Lou said. "They built fortune on stolen land. My grandmother signed partnership. They made her disappear. She thought silence meant survival. I think truth means survival now." Tiana sat down, rubbing her temples. "He's already watching us. There are cameras. Security. You can't just walk into his office with old papers." Lou looked directly at her. "Then we don't walk. We expose." That evening, Tiana met Heather in the laundry room. The hum of machines masked their voices. "I didn't tell him everything," Heather whispered. "He made me print that footage from security, but I didn't say what you found." "Why not?" "Because he's scared," Heather said. "And if he's scared, you must have something real." Tiana studied her. "You could have thrown me under the bus." "I almost did," Heather admitted. "But I saw how he looked at you. Like he wanted you gone no matter what. That's not normal. That's cover-up behavior." Tiana hesitated. "Heather, do you still have access to the archive keys?" Heather frowned. "Why?" "I need one more night in that room." Heather sighed. "Tiana, this isn't some Netflix thing. You get caught, they'll call the cops." "I know," Tiana said. "But if she's telling the truth, someone has to prove it." After a long silence, Heather reached into her pocket and handed her a small brass key. "You didn't get this from me." That night, Tiana and Madame Lou slipped into the basement again. The halls were empty except for the low buzz of generators. "Here," Tiana whispered, unlocking the archive door. Inside, shelves of old boxes stretched wall to wall. The air smelled of dust and detergent. Lou moved methodically, checking labels. They hit her name, but maybe they forgot the paperwork. They opened box after box, old blueprints, contracts, invoices. Nothing useful. Then Tiana found a thin leather folder wedged behind a filing cabinet. This looks older. Lou opened it carefully. Inside were 3 documents: a deed transfer, a partnership dissolution, and a notarized signature. She pointed to the signature at the bottom, Jiangmin. Except this, Tiana said, squinting. That's not the same handwriting as the others. Lou's voice dropped. Forged. Footsteps echoed in the hall. Tiana turned off the flashlight. Someone's coming. They froze behind the shelves as the door creaked open. The beam of a security flashlight swept across the room. Eaton's voice said quietly, "You sure they're down here?" Another voice replied. It was Heather's. That's what the night guard said. Tiana's stomach dropped. Heather. The light moved closer. Lou grabbed Tiana's hand, whispering in Mandarin, "We go now." They moved along the far wall, stepping over cables, heartbeats loud in the dark. The light passed inches from them. Then the door shut. Silence again. Tiana exhaled shakily. She sold us out. Lou shook her head. Maybe she had no choice. They control her paycheck. Fear is a weapon. Tiana looked at the forged signature again. But now we have proof. Lou nodded, slipping the papers into her bag. Proof means nothing unless the world sees it. When they emerged from the service elevator, the lobby was empty. The city lights outside flickered through the glass doors. Where do we go now? Tiana asked. To someone who listens, Lou said. You know anyone not afraid of the Eatons? Tiana thought of Rebecca, then shook her head. No one here. Then outside, Lou said, Tomorrow, we find someone who writes the truth. She looked toward the ceiling, as if hearing echoes from the hidden room above. My grandmother built this place to welcome people, she said. They turned it into a cage. Time to open the door again. Tiana glanced at her. You realize if we fail, they'll bury both of us. Lou smiled faintly. Then we'll just have to make enough noise they can't. By noon the next day, Tiana's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Unknown numbers. Private calls. She didn't answer any. When she finally checked her work email, there it was. Termination notice, effective immediately. No explanation, just a line about violation of confidentiality. She stared at it for a few seconds, then deleted it. In the Magnolia suite, Madame Lou sat at the desk surrounded by papers, her hair pinned neatly, her face expressionless. They fired you? She asked when Tiana walked in. Yeah, effective today. Lou didn't even blink. Good. Now you can tell truth without fear. Tiana laughed once bitter. Without income, too. I will pay you, Lou said simply. You already risked your job for me. Let me buy your time now. It's not about money, Tiana said. I know, Lou replied. That's why I trust you. They sat together over the documents. Tiana took photos of every page with her phone. Who do we give this to? She asked. There's a journalist, Lou said. Grace Wong. She writes about corporate corruption. I sent her message last week. No answer yet. Tiana opened her laptop. Let's try again. Lou dictated a short, direct message. We have proof of forged property deeds linked to Marlowe Holdings. Meet us tonight. Tiana hit send. 15 minutes later, a reply came back. 8 p.m. Parkview Cafe. Corner booth. Don't bring originals. That evening, Tiana wore a plain hoodie, hair tucked under a cap. Lou dressed down too. Beige coat, no jewelry, just her usual calm. The cafe was half empty, soft jazz playing under the clatter of cups. Grace Wong was already there, a woman in her 30s with sharp eyes and tired posture. You're the ones who emailed, Grace said. No handshake, no smile. Show me what you've got. Tiana slid her phone across the table, open to the photos. Grace scrolled in silence. These look like original deeds, she said finally. You know what happens if you're wrong? They're real, Lou said quietly. Grace looked up. You found them inside the hotel? Tiana nodded. Behind a hidden wall. The place used to belong to her grandmother. Grace studied them both. And you think Marlowe Holdings forged this signature to take the property? We don't think, Lou said. We know. Grace kept scrolling. If this checks out, it's a big story. But it'll get ugly. They'll deny everything. Sue for defamation. Dig through your pasts. You ready for that? Tiana hesitated. We don't have a choice anymore. Grace nodded slowly. Okay, I'll verify these with a handwriting expert and check the archives. But I'll need more. Financial records, internal memos, anything linking Eaton's family to the forgery. We can get that, Tiana said. Grace looked skeptical. How? Tiana glanced at Lou. Because he already tried to destroy it. Back at the hotel, security was tighter. The staff whispered when they saw Lou return alone. Eaton avoided her in public, but his assistant followed her everywhere. That night, Tiana met Heather behind the building near the loading dock. Rain dripped from the metal awning. You shouldn't be here, Heather said nervously. They're looking for you. I need your help, Tiana said. Archives, old financial ledgers. You said Eaton's family name is on them. Heather looked around, whispering, You're insane. He's already blaming me for the footage leak. Please, Tiana said. This could fix everything for you too. Heather hesitated. If I get caught, I'll take the fall, Tiana said. Heather exhaled hard. There's a file room in sub-basement B. Finance records, paper only. You'll need my code to open it. But don't stay long. They check cameras every 2 hours. She handed over a folded sticky note with a 4-digit code. Tiana nodded. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Heather said quietly. If he catches you, he won't just fire you. Midnight. Tiana and Lou moved through the dark halls again. The air smelled of detergent and metal. This way, Tiana whispered, keying in the code at the heavy steel door. Inside were rows of old filing cabinets, dust thick enough to choke on. They worked fast, Lou scanning, Tiana photographing everything that bore the name Regal Developments or Eaton. After 15 minutes, Lou froze. Here, she whispered. Read this. Tiana looked. A contract from 1952 transferring property titles from Jiangmin to Regal Developments, signed by Thompson, Eaton, and Blake. 3 families, Tiana murmured. Still running the hotel today. Lou turned the page. Attached was a typed memo. Transfer completed. Original Chinese ownership removed from record. Tiana took a photo. That's our smoking gun. But before they could leave, a noise echoed behind them. Footsteps, slow and deliberate. The door creaked open. Eaton stepped inside, flashlight in hand. You really don't know when to quit, do you? Lou didn't move. We're not stealing. We're reclaiming. He laughed. You're trespassing in private property. This was my family's property first, she said evenly. He lowered the flashlight. Lady, your family's gone. You're chasing ghosts. Now give me that file before you make things worse. Tiana stepped between them. Don't. He ignored her and reached forward. Lou pulled the document back. Eaton's voice dropped. You have no idea who you're fighting. Tiana met his eyes. Neither do you. He lunged for the folder. Tiana shoved him backward into a shelf. Papers rained down, dust clouding the air. Run, she yelled. They bolted down the corridor. Eaton shouted after them, but his voice faded as they turned the corner and slipped into the service stairwell. By the time they reached the street, both were gasping. Rain hammered down hard now, soaking everything. Lou clutched the folder under her coat. He will call police. Let him, Tiana said, because tomorrow morning, everyone's going to know what he's hiding. Lou looked at her, then nodded. Then we finish it. At dawn, Grace Wong's article went live. Hidden History, the Marlowe Hotel's stolen legacy. The headlines spread fast, shared, reposted, dissected. Photos of the forged deeds filled every feed. Outside the hotel, news vans lined the curb. Reporters shouted questions. Guests checked out early. And on the 15th floor, Eaton watched it all from his office window, jaw tight, hands shaking. He reached for his phone, dialed a number, and said only one thing. She found the originals. We have to shut this down now. By morning, chaos had spread. Reporters camped outside the hotel, microphones shoved into guests' faces, asking what they thought of the stolen heritage scandal. Inside, security patrolled every floor. Employees whispered. Rebecca texted Tiana. They changed every code. Eaton's furious. He's calling lawyers. Tiana ignored it and focused on what mattered, the evidence. Grace had confirmed the documents were real, but needed the originals for publication. They meant going back. That night, The sky hung low with rain again. Tiana met Lou in a parking lot 2 blocks from the hotel. He locked the archives, Tiana said, and I think Heather told him where we found the deeds. Lou nodded. Fear makes people weak, but greed makes them predictable. Tiana frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Lou pulled a folded newspaper from her coat. The headline read, Marlowe Holdings responds to allegations. Fabricated documents, foreign manipulation. They say I forged them, Lou said, voice flat. They plan to sue me for defamation. Tiana's stomach tightened. Then they're scared. Scared enough to destroy proof, Lou said. We must move faster. They slipped into the service entrance after midnight. The building felt different now. Nervous watched. Every camera had a red light glowing. They reached the magnolia floor and found the secret door, still half ajar. Inside, the Phoenix Wing looked the same except for one thing. The writing desk was empty. The journal was gone. No, Lou whispered. They took it. Tiana checked the drawers. Nothing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Lou straightened. Then we take what he hides. In Eaton's office, the lights were off. Only the faint city glow spilled through the glass wall. Tiana hesitated at the door. You sure about this? You asked if I wanted justice, Lou said. Justice never asks permission. She picked the lock with surprising ease. The door clicked open. Inside, file drawers lined the wall. They moved quickly, searching labels. Legal, 2019 to 2023. Shareholder reports. Regal Developments Archive. There, Tiana said. They opened a drawer. Inside were folders stamped confidential. Dozens of internal memos. One caught Tiana's eye. It read, 1952 transfer documents. Retain in private vault until renovation ends. Below that, a recent note from Eaton. Dispose of remaining Jiang materials once press dies down. He's still covering it up, Tiana said. Before Lou could reply, a voice came from behind them. I told you, Eaton said from the doorway. You don't know who you're fighting. He stepped inside, gunmetal glint of a taser in hand. Put the files down. Lou stayed still. You call police again? He smiled. No need. Building security's already on the way. Tiana's pulse raced. You'll go down for this. There are cameras. He laughed. Not in here. I made sure of that years ago. He reached for the folder. Lou didn't move. She looked at him calmly, voice steady. Your grandfather stole from mine. You're just finishing his job. Eaton's smirk faded. You think this place exists because of some tea shop owner? Wake up. People like her built things. People like me kept them running. That's what thieves always say, Lou said. He lunged forward. She sidestepped, sending papers scattering. Tiana grabbed the taser hand, pushing it away. It fired once, sparking into the wall. Eaton shoved her hard. She hit the desk, breath knocked out. Lou snatched the main folder and ran for the door. Eaton caught her arm. You're done, he hissed. Tiana grabbed a glass paperweight and swung. It connected with his wrist, hard. He yelled, dropped the taser. Lou pulled free. They ran. Down the emergency stairs, alarms started blaring. Security radios echoed overhead. Keep moving, Tiana gasped. They burst through a side door into the alley, rain pouring again. Behind them, the hotel lights flickered as if the building itself knew what was happening. Lou clutched the soaked folder under her coat. We have enough. Tiana nodded. More than enough. At 3 a.m., they met Grace again, this time in a parking garage downtown. She spread the papers over her car hood under dim yellow light. These are company memos, Grace said, scanning fast. This one, Jesus, it's an internal directive to destroy records linking the Jiang estate to the hotel purchase. This is criminal. You'll publish. Lou asked. Grace looked at them both. They'll threaten you. Maybe worse. Lou's voice didn't waver. Then they already lost. Grace nodded once. I'll go live at sunrise. At 7 a.m., the story broke again, stronger. Evidence confirms forgery in Marlowe Hotel's founding documents. TV trucks blocked the streets. Protesters gathered outside. Eaton appeared briefly at the lobby entrance, face pale, escorted by security. Reporters shouted questions. He said nothing. Inside, corporate phones rang nonstop. Investors withdrew. And in the middle of it all, Tiana stood in the lobby. No uniform now, just a calm, steady face watching the empire crack. Lou walked beside her, silent. "He'll come after us again," Tiana said. "I know," Lou said, "but this time, we're not alone." She handed Tiana a small envelope. "Open later." "What is it?" "Something my grandmother left unfinished." That night, Eaton's office was dark again. His phone buzzed on the desk, the screen flashing with an unknown number. He didn't pick up. The voicemail that followed said only, "Richard Eaton, this is Grace Wong. We're giving you a chance to respond. Otherwise, tomorrow's headline names every shareholder." Eaton closed his eyes, breathing heavy. He knew the war wasn't over. But the silence in the room made it clear he was already losing. 2 days later, the hotel was half empty. Guests canceled reservations. The lobby smelled like cold coffee and panic. Tiana sat at the corner table of the cafe across the street, watching reporters swarm the entrance. Every screen on the news showed the same headline: "Investigation opens into Marlowe Holdings' forgery allegations." Grace joined her, laptop open, face tired but triumphant. "You two just lit a fire under the city." "Good," Tiana said. "Now what?" "Now the board calls a special hearing," Grace said. "Tomorrow morning, they'll try to control the damage. Eden will be there. So will the shareholders. They'll want to spin it, make it look like a misunderstanding. And you'll be there too?" "I'll be outside," Grace said. "But you should be inside." Tiana frowned. "I'm not staff anymore." "Exactly," Grace said. "You're free to talk." That night, Tiana met Lou in her suite. Boxes everywhere, trunk lids open. Lou was packing. "You're leaving?" "For now," Lou said. "They want me gone. Immigration lawyers called. Someone reported me for visa irregularities." Tiana's stomach sank. "Eden?" "Yes. He wants silence. But I already gave Grace everything. If I go, truth stays." Tiana hesitated. "You shouldn't face him alone tomorrow." Lou closed her suitcase. "I won't. You'll come." "Me? You were witness," Lou said simply. "They could dismiss me as foreigner, but not you. You're one of their own. They will listen when you speak." Tiana almost laughed. "You think they listen to people like me?" Lou looked her in the eye. "They will if you don't flinch." The board meeting the next morning filled the top-floor conference room. Long table, dark suits, cameras banned. Eaton sat at one end, pale, exhausted. Across from him, the chairman, a thin man in his 70s, cleared his throat. "We are here to address allegations of forged historical ownership documents. Mr. Eaton, your department is directly implicated." Eaton kept his voice calm. "I acted on behalf of the company. The claims are false and motivated by." The door opened. Lou walked in first, flanked by Tiana. Every head turned. "You weren't invited," the chairman said sharply. Lou laid a folder on the table. "Then consider this my invitation." She opened it. Inside were printed memos, the forged deeds, and copies of the 1952 transfer order. Eaton's jaw tightened. "Those are stolen company records." "No," Lou said. "They're my family's property. You stole them 70 years ago." The chairman frowned. "Mrs. Lou, even if these claims are true, this isn't the venue." "It is," Tiana interrupted, "because every person in this room has benefited from that theft." The room went still. Tiana stepped forward. "You can call it history or business or paperwork. But it started with violence. Men like his grandfather taking land from people who couldn't fight back. And you built a fortune on that. You all did." Eden glared at her. "You're a fired employee. Watch your tone." "I watched you hit her in front of witnesses," Tiana said coldly. "And I watched you forge signatures to erase her family's name. You want to talk about tone? Start with that." A few board members shifted uncomfortably. One woman whispered, "There's video of that incident." Lou opened another envelope and slid it across the table. "Photos, timestamps, news clippings. Everything you buried. I unburied." The chairman glanced at Eden. "Is any of this true?" Eden tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "They're manipulating." Grace Wong's voice rang from the hallway. She wasn't inside, but the TV crew outside had just aired another report. New evidence links Marlowe Holdings to systematic erasure of minority-owned businesses in 1950s Manhattan. The sound carried through the open door. Cameras. Voices. The board erupted in whispers. Tiana leaned on the table. You can't bury this anymore. The world's watching. The chairman exhaled, long and heavy. Mr. Eaton, until this matter is resolved, you are suspended pending investigation. Eaton's face went white. You can't. I can, the chairman said. And I just did. He turned to Lou. Mrs. Lou, we will review your claim. If the deeds are verified, restitution will be discussed. Lou's expression didn't change. Restitution isn't enough. You will put her name back where it belongs. On the building. No one answered. The silence was enough. Outside, reporters surrounded them as they exited the elevator. Mrs. Lou, Miss Carter, is it true the board confirmed the forgery? Lou stopped just long enough to say, they confirmed fear. Tiana followed quietly, keeping her head down until they reached the car. When the door shut, Lou handed her a folded envelope, the same one from the night before. Open now. Inside was a letter, handwritten in faded ink. It was addressed to Jiang Min's granddaughter. Tiana read aloud. If the phoenix sleeps, let her rest. But if she wakes, let her burn bright enough that even her enemies remember her name. Lou smiled faintly. She wrote that before they took everything. Tiana looked out the window at the glowing sign of the Marlowe. Then it's time they remember. That night, the hotel's website quietly changed. At the bottom of the history page, under founders, a new line appeared. Jiang Min, original architect and co-founder, 1940 to 1952. And for the first time in 70 years, the name stayed. By sunrise, the storm was gone. Manhattan looked scrubbed clean, glass and steel catching new light. But inside the Marlowe, the air was still thick, fear, shame, and something else, reckoning. The boardroom doors stayed locked for hours. Staff whispered in corridors. Cameras outside waited. At 10:15, an internal memo leaked. The board had voted. Effective immediately, Richard Eaton removed. Jiang family claim acknowledged. Tiana read it twice, standing in the lobby where it all began. Guests walked past without knowing they were standing on land stolen 70 years ago. Rebecca came up behind her. They did it. Tiana nodded. Rebecca exhaled. About time. She hesitated. You coming back to work? No, Tiana said. Not like before. Upstairs in the Magnolia Suite, Madame Liu, or rather, Mei-Ling Zhao, stood at the window, hair unpinned, eyes steady. She didn't look like a guest anymore. She looked like an owner. When Tiana entered, Liu turned. It's done, she said simply. Feels unreal. Justice often does, Liu replied, especially when it comes too late for those who earned it. She handed Tiana a document, signed and stamped. Restoration agreement. 25% ownership returned to Jiang Estate. It's official, Tiana said. You actually did it. We did, Liu corrected. Tiana smiled faintly. You think your grandmother would believe this? She wouldn't believe it took this long, Liu said dryly. The following week blurred into interviews, press conferences, apologies. Grace Wong's expose was nominated for an investigative award. Asian American community groups flooded Liu's inbox. Guests began booking rooms again, not because of luxury, but legacy. The Marlowe was now half museum, half hotel. The hidden suite restored and renamed the Phoenix Wing. Its grand reopening drew officials, historians, and survivors of 1950s Chinatown business raids. The ceremony was small, simple. Liu spoke first, calm and direct. This hotel was built on stolen ground. Today we return its foundation to truth. We do not erase history. We restore it. She paused. My grandmother believed that if the phoenix sleeps, she will rise again when justice calls. Today, she rises. Applause broke out, cameras flashing. Then Liu turned to Tiana. You speak. Tiana froze. I'm not. You are, Liu said, because truth needs more than one voice. Tiana stepped to the podium. I was just a housekeeper here. I saw things most guests never do. How people get ignored when they don't fit the picture. Madame Zhao wasn't ignored because she couldn't speak English. She was ignored because people didn't care to listen. The room went quiet. That's what this story is about. Listening. Seeing what's been made invisible. When she stepped back, Liu's eyes glistened. Perfect, she whispered. After the crowd dispersed, Tiana lingered in the restored Phoenix wing. The dust was gone, the silk panels clean again. Two pendants hung in a glass case, Phoenix and Dragon, side by side. Lou joined her. "It's strange," she said softly. "When I found this place, I thought I was chasing revenge. But standing here now, it feels like closure." "It is closure," Tiana said. "In a beginning." Lou smiled. "That's why I'm leaving." Tiana turned. "Leaving? China first," Lou said. "Then Hong Kong. There are more archives, more stories like this. I will find them." Tiana nodded slowly. "And me? You stay?" Lou said. "You know this place better than anyone now. Help it change." She took off the jade Phoenix pendant, the twin to the dragon in the case, and placed it in Tiana's hand. "This belongs to the future," Lou said. Tiana hesitated. "You sure?" Lou closed her fingers around it. "Completely." 3 months later, the Marlowe reopened under a new name, the Phoenix Regal Hotel. At the center of the lobby hung a brass plaque, dedicated to Jiang Min, visionary and founder. Her light restored 1952 to 2025. Guests took photos. Staff gave tours. Tiana, now listed as cultural liaison and archivist, led them through the renovated suite, telling the story plainly, without embellishment. At the end, she always said the same line: "History isn't gone when it's stolen. It waits for someone stubborn enough to dig it up." One night, after closing, she stood alone in the Phoenix wing. The city lights shimmered through the tall windows. She took the jade pendant from her neck and held it up. Reflected in the glass behind her wasn't just her own face, but faintly, the portrait of Jiang Min, smiling from the past. "Rest now," Tiana whispered in Mandarin. The lights dimmed. The Phoenix gleamed. Outside, across the street, a man in a gray car watched the building. Michael Lee, grandson of Warren Phillips, thumbed through a folder marked Property Holdings, 1947 to 1955. He made one call. "Yeah, she won this round," he said quietly. "But if they start digging into the others, we're finished." A pause, then burn everything left. He hung up, eyes still on the shining hotel. Inside, Tiana switched off the final light and stepped into the elevator. The door slid shut. The brass walls reflected her face, steady, calm, and unafraid. The Phoenix hung at her throat, bright, defiant, alive. Justice wasn't over. It had only learned how to speak. 6 months later, New York had moved on. The protests faded, the headlines shifted, and the Phoenix Regal became just another luxury landmark with a story attached to its name. But for Tiana Jackson, nothing about it felt finished. The days were full: museum tours, interviews, academic visits. But at night, she still replayed the last words she heard from Mei Ling before she left. "They'll burn what they can. Make sure you keep what they can't." One quiet evening, Tiana was in her small office behind the Phoenix wing, sorting donation records. The staff had long gone home. The hotel was silent except for the distant hum of elevators. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, then answered. A male voice, low and careful. "Miss Jackson." "Yes. I was told you're the one to call about the Jiang archives." "Who is this?" A pause. "Someone whose grandfather helped destroy them." Tiana froze. "Michael Lee." "Not him," the voice said. "His brother, Daniel." She straightened in her chair. "Why are you calling me?" "Because I found something before they burned it," he said. "And I don't trust anyone else to have it." "What is it?" "Blueprints. Contracts. Proof the Marlowe Group didn't just steal one property. They took 9. Chinatown, Harlem, Queens. All under shell companies. It's bigger than you think." Tiana felt her pulse climb. "Where are you?" "Pier 47, East River." "Midnight. Come alone." The line went dead. At midnight, the wind off the river cut sharp through her coat. The old pier was nearly deserted, just cranes, warehouses, and the echo of waves hitting steel. A man stepped out from a shadow of a loading container. Early 30s, same sharp jawline as Michael, but softer eyes. He carried a messenger bag strapped across his chest. "You actually came," he said quietly. "I had to," Tiana said. "Show me." He unzipped the bag and pulled out a thick folder, edges singed. Inside, copies of property deeds, letters, bank ledgers. The signatures were the same names: Phillips, Eden, Thompson. Tiana scanned a page. This is the same handwriting as the Jiang forgery. He nodded. Their operation didn't stop in the 50s. They used the same scheme through the 60s. Chinese, Korean, black property owners all forced out. Tiana looked up at him. Why give this to me? Because my grandfather's name is on some of them, Daniel said quietly. And because Michael's trying to finish what they started. Tiana's jaw tightened. You mean the order to burn everything? He nodded. They already torched one warehouse in Queens. But these survived. I made digital copies. You'll need them. She took the folder carefully. You realize this makes you a target. He gave a small, tired smile. So are you. Before she could reply, a car door slammed across the pier. Headlights flared. A dark SUV rolled closer, engine humming. Daniel's face went pale. They followed me. Go, Tiana said. He shook his head. Take it. Run. She grabbed the folder and bolted down the pier, boots pounding on wet wood. Behind her, men shouted. 2 flashlights cut through the fog. She ducked behind a crate, breath ragged, clutching the folder tight. Footsteps passed, fast and heavy. Then gunfire. One sharp crack. Then silence. Tiana didn't move. Minutes stretched. Then she crept back. Daniel lay by the railing, motionless, blood dark on his sleeve. The SUV was gone. She knelt beside him. He was still breathing, shallow and uneven. His eyes opened briefly. Don't let it die again. Then he went still. Tiana pressed her palm against the folder. I won't. 2 hours later, she sat in her apartment with the documents spread across the table. Rain lashed the windows. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from clarity. It wasn't just about one hotel. It never had been. The Marlowe Group had built its empire by erasing entire neighborhoods. Mailing's grandmother was just the first. And now, the proof sat in Tiana's living room, wet and stained with blood. By dawn, she'd copied everything to a hard drive and mailed a sealed envelope to Grace Wong with 3 words inside. It never stopped. Then she opened her laptop and started writing her own report, not as a housekeeper or translator, but as a witness. Line by line, she detailed what Daniel had brought her, attaching scans of every document. When she finished, she typed one final sentence. If justice sleeps again, someone else will have to wake it. She hit send. That night, a small fire burned in a warehouse in Queens. Just another accident, the papers said. But by morning, a new headline appeared online. Second wave of stolen property cases linked to Marlowe Empire. Whistleblower missing. And under it, a photo of the Phoenix Regal, bathed in sunrise, captioned, where one voice broke silence. More will follow. In her office, Tiana pinned a new note beside the portrait of Jiang Min. We're not done yet. She touched the jade pendant at her neck, eyes steady. Somewhere out there, someone had tried to kill the story again. But this time, it was already awake. And fire, once awakened, doesn't sleep twice.